Welcome back, everybody. Today's deep dive is going to be kind of different, but super interesting.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
We're going way back to ancient Israel and looking at, well, basically how they took care of, like, their teachers and spiritual leaders and all those folks.
Yeah, the people who weren't out there farming but were still like super important to the community.
Right, exactly. And it's like, how did they support those folks? They weren't exactly bringing in the big bucks back then.
That's a great question. And it's something we still grapple with today, right? Like, how do we value and support those whose work is essential but maybe not, like directly tied to material wealth?
Okay, so let's break it down. The story here is basically you've got the Israelites entering the Promised Land, and they're dividing up the territory amongst the 12 tribes.
Right.
But there's this one group, the Levites, and they get something totally different, cities instead of farmland.
Yeah. And there's a really specific reason for that. The Levites, they weren't farmers or soldiers. Their whole role was to serve the spiritual and social needs of the community.
So like the teachers, priests, judges, all that.
Exactly. They were the keepers of knowledge and tradition, you could say.
Okay, that makes sense. But okay, so if they weren't out there growing crops or making things to trade, how did they actually, survive? Did everyone just like bring them a basket of figs every week or something?
Well, it was a bit more organized than that. The other tribes, the ones working the land, they were actually obligated to give a portion of their harvest and livestock to the Levites.
Interesting. So it's like built into this system.
Yeah, a system of shared responsibility. It was based on this idea that everyone benefits from the services the Levites provided. So everyone contributes.
So kind of like how we pay taxes today to support things like schools and public services.
That's a really good parallel. It highlights this concept that a thriving community really depends on the contributions of everyone, even those whose work might not directly produce, tangible goods.
Right. And it wasn't just a small gesture either. I mean, the text actually says the Levites got 48 cities in total.
That's right. It shows just how seriously they took this idea of supporting those who served the community.
Wow, 48 cities. That's a pretty big commitment.
Yeah, and some of those cities had special designations, like cities of refuge. These offered sanctuary to people who had accidentally, committed manslaughter.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that. So they were handling some pretty heavy stuff.
Yeah, it was a way of offering a safety net and a chance for justice and reconciliation within the community, all managed by the Levites.
Okay, so the Levites had all these responsibilities, from spiritual guidance to
Yeah.
legal matters. And the community, in turn, made sure they were taken care of.
Exactly. It's this fascinating model of reciprocal care, shared responsibility.
Makes you wonder, I mean, do we see any echoes of that system in our world today? I mean, we might not have Levites, but don't we have modern day folks who do that kind of essential work for the community?
Absolutely. And that's what we're going to explore next, how those ancient ideas about community support play out in our world today.
Ooh, can't wait. This is
Yeah.
getting really interesting.
It is, isn't it? Stay tuned. So we were talking about those Levites and how the community pitched in to support them.
Right, right. It makes you think,
Yeah.
like, do we even see anything like that today? That whole idea of shared responsibility.
Well, think about it. We've got teachers, right? Shaping young minds. And healthcare workers keeping us healthy. And artists enriching our lives.
Oh, yeah. And community organizers bringing people together,
Yeah.
all those roles, they're like super important to a functioning society.
Exactly. But sometimes their work, it doesn't always translate to those big paychecks.
Totally. It's like crucial work, but not always financially rewarding.
Yeah.
Kind of reminds you of those Levites, right? Not out there farming, but vital to the community.
Exactly. And just like back then, we have ways of supporting these roles.
Oh, yeah. Like taxes.
Yeah.
That's how we fund public schools and hospitals and all that.
Right. Taxes are like a key part of that collective support system. It's like we all contribute a portion, just like those Israelites did with their harvests and livestock.
Interesting. So paying taxes is kind of like our version of bringing the first fruits to the Levites.
You could say that. It's an acknowledgement that we all benefit and therefore we all share the responsibility.
Right. But it's not just taxes, is it?
Nope. There are other ways too.
Like what?
Well, think about donations, right? People giving to charities that support teachers, healthcare workers, researchers, artists, all those who are contributing to the well-being of society but might not be, getting rich off it.
Oh, yeah, true. Like when I donate to my local library or public radio station, love those places.
Exactly. Or volunteering. That's another big one, right? Giving your time and skills to a cause you care about.
Yeah, like mentoring kids or helping out at a food bank.
all that stuff. It makes a difference, you know?
Mm.
Just like all those tribes coming together to support the Levites, a little bit from everyone can go a long way.
Right, right. And sometimes it's not even about money or big actions, is it?
Sometimes it's the little things.
Yeah. Like just saying thank you to your kid's teacher, or leaving a nice review for a local business,
Yeah.
or just acknowledging the people who work hard to make things better.
Those small gestures, they really matter. They create this culture of appreciation and respect for those who are serving others.
So we've got taxes, donations, volunteering, just expressing gratitude. It's like we've woven that whole idea of shared responsibility into so many parts of modern life.
We have, but it also raises a question, doesn't it? Like, are we doing enough? Are we truly upholding our end of the bargain, so to speak?
Whoa, that's a big question. Makes you wonder, are we giving as much as we're getting?
It's a tough one to answer, for sure. There's no single way to measure, societal well-being. But we can look at some things. Are people's basic needs met? Do they feel safe and supported? Are there opportunities for everyone to thrive?
Right, right. So it's not about some perfect utopia or anything.
No, not at all. It's about striving,
Yeah.
making a conscious effort to create a just and equitable world.
Just like those Israelites, working together to build their community.
Exactly. It's a journey, right? A collective effort to make sure everyone has the chance to both contribute and benefit.
It's kind of mind-blowing, this old text about dividing land, and it's got these deep insights into building a better future.
It is. And it's about those core values, right? Shared responsibility, gratitude, serving others. Those things, they go beyond time and culture.
Yeah, they're timeless. And on that note, I think we've reached the end of our little exploration of this ancient system and what it means for us today. But we've got one final thought to leave you with. Something to ponder. We'll dive into that right after the break. All right, we're back and ready to wrap up our deep dive into this ancient system and what it might mean for us today.
It really is fascinating to see how these ideas from ancient Israel, about supporting the community, resonate with so many aspects of our modern world.
Yeah, like we were saying, they had their Levites, and we've got our teachers, healthcare workers, artists, community organizers.
Right, all those folks who are like making our world a better place, a more functional place, a richer place.
Yeah, you really start to appreciate all the work that goes on behind the scenes. All the people who keep things running.
And just as the Israelites recognized the importance of supporting the Levites, we've developed those systems too, right? Like taxes, donations, volunteering.
Exactly. It's all about making sure those vital roles in our communities are taken care of.
But it's not just about systems and structures, is it? It's also about recognizing the value of those contributions and expressing gratitude for those who are serving others.
Right, like a simple thank you can go a long way.
Absolutely. It's about creating a culture of appreciation, fostering that sense of shared responsibility, and encouraging people to really step up and contribute to the well-being of their communities.
So we've covered a lot of ground here, from historical context to modern parallels and how we support these essential roles today. But as we wrap up, I keep coming back to that question you asked earlier. Are we doing enough?
It's a question we should all be asking ourselves, right? Are we truly contributing our fair share? Are we actively supporting those who are making our communities better places? Are we taking the time to express gratitude for their efforts?
It's easy to get caught up in our own lives, our own routines, and lose sight of the bigger picture.
It is. But this whole conversation, it's been a good reminder that we're all interconnected, and that our individual choices, they have an impact, a ripple effect.
Every act of kindness, every donation we make, every hour we volunteer, every word of appreciation we offer.
All of it matters. It all comes together to create a stronger, more compassionate society.
So as we close out this episode of The Deep Dive, we want to leave you with a little challenge, something to think about. What's one thing you can do today, even something small, to support those who contribute to your community?
Maybe it's thanking your child's teacher, volunteering at a local organization, or just, smiling at the cashier at your grocery store.
Yeah.
It all adds up.
Remember, just like those Israelites working together to support the Levites, we can build a more harmonious and flourishing world by recognizing how interconnected we all are and contributing to the well-being of everyone.
It's about coming together, recognizing our shared responsibility, and making a conscious effort to create a better future for everyone.
Thanks for joining us on this journey of discovery. We hope it's given you some food for thought and maybe even inspired you to take action in your own community. Until next time, keep diving deep.